I know at least in shooting those scenes, you know, because all of that last bit is mocapped of walking back into the house, seeing that Dina and JJ are gone, picking up the guitar, trying to play it again. I didn't feel a lot of hope. And she's making a conscious decision at the end of the game to... she leaves again. We don't know where, but she leaves that behind, and I think you're right. I think the only thing that maybe is hopeful about this journey is that she has found her humanity. At the end of the day, that's kind of all we can hope for any of us, is hoping that in these situations that we put ourselves in, that at the end of the day, we're going to choose humanity and to try to do the right thing. And obviously it took a journey of doing very terrible things for her to get there. But I think that for me, that was the only thing that was hopeful, you know, because it's sad. She lost a lot, and it took a lot for her to realize that.
Yeah, we had a lot of conversation. John Sweeney, co-art director, was really like had ideas for the title screen, and we talked about showing it as like the guitar, and then like when you press start, the camera will pull out and you see Joel polishing the guitar, and that felt right in a lot of ways. But then as we started making the story, and we knew everything is heading to this showdown at this beach, like that's where it's all going to come together, and it felt there were a version of the story where we even started the game with like Ellie just sobbing, sitting on this beach with waves kind of washing around her, and there's like you see like blood in the water, and then we cut to like the beginning, but it just felt like, okay, there's like flash forward and flashbacks, and it's like just the beginning was getting a little bit too muddy, and we needed to simplify it to make it clear. And then I don't remember, just as we're brainstorming like the idea of starting on the boat, and then I was like, oh, that's kind of exciting. Like there's this ominous image that we could leave you with, and then everything is heading towards that ominous image. And then we talked about, oh, Abby leaves and goes to Catalina, and they're talking about this like round building. Like we could then change the menu and show like the boat made it and end on them, like, as you said, it's like, it's kind of a hopeful note that like, at least you know they made it to this beach. What happens afterward, again, what really happens in the future, you don't know. And there's something about, I think last time we talked a lot about how death often doesn't happen the way we expect it to, and there's so much like randomness to life that Joel didn't know taking that action at the hospital will lead to his eventual demise, but it did. And likewise, Abby didn't know that sparing Ellie in the theater will eventually lead to her survival. Because if Abby didn't spare Ellie and then just went to Santa Barbara with Lev, she would be dead. She would have died on that post. And there's something kind of poetic about that this whole kind of like cycle of violence and all these people left dead and maimed and traumatized, somehow something good came out of that at the end. And it felt like kind of cool to just present it with the menu and see if people pick up on it.
The title screen is an indication of hope, right? It's Lev and Abby. Maybe they've arrived, you know, without, in the true Naughty Dog way of not spelling it out, you know, maybe they've arrived at Catalina, maybe they've found the fireflies, maybe they found community and home, and a version of community and home that is more stable than what they've experienced in Seattle and more akin to what Abby experienced at the hospital. So I think that's the hope, but also leaving some mystery. You know, we don't know who the fireflies are now. We don't know what their focus is now. Is it still finding a cure? Have they moved on? And why Catalina?
Please answer.
Hi, Abby. We got a clear signal on you. Where in Santa Barbara you calling from?
2425 Constance. We got a tip about a base, but there's no one here. We're looking for fireflies. I'm a firefly.
To me, it's really exciting. Like, look, we're not being prescriptive and you're being allowed to take away what you will, and being left with the idea that people's stories are never really done. Even when they're dead, their stories aren't done. You know, like where Ellie goes when she leaves the farmhouse. Is she going to Dina? Is she just going off? Is she going back to the fireflies? Like, you have no idea, but you know that she is changed. Right, so that her new stasis is a changed, more wizened, wiser gal than the sweet one that we saw at a dance years before. But it leaves a lot of room to say she's still growing, she's still changing, her story's not finished. No one's story is finished. I think it makes the endings feel more human, more relatable.
I could sit here and just mull that over for far longer than we have or I have hard disk space for. What's so funny is I try to think of a better word, but the word that I keep coming back to is a story of redemption. Because unilaterally across every character, I can see that as a commonality of every character just wanting redemption. It's not about revenge. Revenge has a very short wick, and everybody just wants to feel like they can be redeemed. So ultimately, I say that The Last of Us is a story of redemption.